Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so we are now turning the boat around, and you have a magnificent shot of Tower Bridge. Now, Tower Bridge celebrated its birthday this week, celebrating 125 years of age. It looks a lot older to fit in with the Gothic style of the Tower of London. Now, Tower Bridge is a part suspension and bascule bridge. That means that the middle part of the bridge opens up. It opens up in 90 seconds. Now, would anybody like to see the bridge open before we leave?
Yes.
You'll have to look on YouTube. There is only one day of the year that Tower Bridge does not open. Can anyone have a guess which day that is? Not Christmas Day, not the Queen's birthday. It is the day of the London Marathon. Now on your right-hand side, you have the Tower of London. The original part of the Tower of London is the castle in the middle, known as the White Castle. Founded by William the Conqueror in the end of 1066. Now on the river wall there, just you can see entry to the Traitors' Gates. Now back in the Victorian days, if you was found of doing any crime, you would be put in rowing boat, rowed through the gate into the middle of the tower, where someone lovely would be there to take your head off with an axe. They would dip your head in tar and put it on a stick and post your head on London Bridge to stop anyone else of thinking committing the same crimes. Now on your left-hand side, look closely, it is camouflage, ladies and gentlemen. You have the HMS Belfast. Now the HMS Belfast was launched on St Patrick's Day. It was built in the same shipyard in Northern Ireland as the ill-fated Titanic. This has just lasted 8 years longer. Now the HMS Belfast was so badly damaged in the Second World War, it went back to the shipyard to get repaired. When it came out of the shipyard for the second time, it was known as one of the finest, most modern warships on the sea. It was the first boat ever fitted with a radar system. Now to this date, every boat at sea and on this River Thames has a radar system fitted. On your right hand side, the building with a 6 pack. Now that building is custom. This is where all of the illegal substances and space come to be destroyed. 6 floors down in a cellar where they are burnt and cooked. Now they say 3 times a day you will see black smoke coming out of those chimneys. I worked on this river for over 10 years and never seen a puff of smoke come out of those chimneys. But I have heard the Christmas star parties are amazing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on your right you have the blue glass building that looks a bit like a staircase. Now people ask me what this building is, and I tell them I don't have a clue. But I have been told it is the head office for the Apprentice Window Cleaning Association. And if you can clean that building there, you can definitely clean the Shard or the Shard of Glass. The tallest building to stand in Western Europe. Designed by an Italian man called Renzo Piano. Now for his architectural work, he got offered £2 million. He turned that down for a penthouse apartment. He had that penthouse apartment for 1 year and 1 year only. He later sold it for a small profit of £45 million. Now I only know that as my captain driving the boat has the apartment next door, and he said he was a very lovely man. Now the next bridge we are going under now is London Bridge. I can't lie to you, ladies and gentlemen, it's written on the wall. This is the 5th London Bridge to have stood. Some of you may know the old nursery rhyme, London Bridge is full. The others was burnt down in a great fire of London, sunken into the mud and pulled down by the Romans. Now the bridge before that was bought by a wealthy American man for $2.5 million. It now stands over Lake Havasu in Arizona. That replica, the Golden Line, was also relocated twice and is set to make a third return. Now this next bridge, ladies and gentlemen, is Cannon Street Railway Bridge. There's not much to tell you about this bridge apart from its brick, and it does a very good job of stopping the train from falling into the river. Now on your right hand side, where the black crane is and the barge with black containers. This is where all of London's rubbish comes to be collected. It is picked up by a big tugboat and taken all the way downriver to a place called Essex. Now that is not a joke, ladies and gentlemen, I promise, it does go there. As we come through Southwark Road Bridge, the first building immediately on your right hand side, the building with the 4 pillared columns, that is Vintners Hall or Vintners Palace. Now the people who work inside that building have the best job in the world. They get to try all of the alcohol, the wines, spirits and beers that make its way into the shops and shelves and restaurants of the City of London. Now if you see a long queue outside, ladies and gentlemen, that is people waiting for a job. Best job in the world. On your left hand side you have the rounded white building with a thatched roof and an open structure. That is the Shakespeare's Rose and Globe Theatre. Now that is the second theatre to stand there, as the original was burnt down in the light performance. They had the king watching down from the stands. They set off a live cannon through the roof and it burnt the place to the ground. Now to this day, ladies and gentlemen, you can still go inside the Shakespeare's Rose and Globe Theatre and watch one of his many plays, such as Romeo and Juliet and the others. Now for as little as £5 you can still go and watch one of his plays, and that is very cheap considering in London you cannot get a pint of beer in a pub for under a £5. Now this next bridge is the Millennium Footbridge, also known as the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge. It is given that nickname as it was opened in June 2000 by Her Majesty the Queen herself. It was later closed only a few hours later by the Metropolitan Police. The bridge was swaying so violently from side to side they had to close it. It was later shut for a further 2 years before reopening. Now the building on your left with the big chimney, that is the old Bankside Power Station. It is now the Tate Modern Art Gallery, home to some of the world's most finest pieces of art that it has to offer. Now that building there is completely free to go inside and have a look around. And if you have seen or know anything about modern art, you will understand why it is completely free to go inside. Now the next bridges, ladies and gentlemen, the first one is Blackfriars Railway Bridge, one of the newest bridges on the River Thames. It cost £500 million to build. It is run by solar panels. The bridge after that is Blackfriars Railway Bridge. Now as we come through the bridges, it is good luck, because these are the closest bridges together to sit on the River Thames. So we like to call them the Tunnel of Love. So don't be shy, ladies and gentlemen. As we go through the bridges, please feel free to pucker up and kiss your loved ones. Now it doesn't matter if you're not with your loved ones, ladies and gentlemen. I've heard it works exactly the same if you kiss your husband or wife. Any single ladies, I'm available. Any single men, my friend Eli inside the wheelbox is very open-minded. Now just underneath this bridge, right where we are now, this is where in the Victorian days they thought the Thames water and the sea water used to meet. On the other side of the bridge, you had seagoing birds. And on the columns on this side of the bridge, you can see statues of warbirds. These are land-going birds. Now you may have noticed some construction work going alongside the banks of the Thames. This is a multi-million-pound project, a 20-year project to replace the old Victorian sewer system. Originally built for 2 million people, we now have a population of over 7 million. Now they're already 2 years behind schedule, and if you have a look over there, you will probably understand why. Welcome to Britain. On your left, you have the Oxo Tower building. Now that was originally a power station, Stamford Power Station. It used to supply all of the electricity to the local post offices in the area. It then got taken over by a meat butcher's company who invented the famous brand Oxo gravy. Still to this day, they sell that gravy all around the world. The restaurant up top is now owned by the designer Harvey Nichols. Now on the river wall, on your right hand side, underneath the black lamppost, you will see some green lines heads. Now this is an old flood indicator to the Metropolitan Police back in the day. If the water was up to the line's mouths, they would evacuate all lower businesses and underground tube stations. And they would bring everyone above sea level to safety. Now we have a saying on the River Thames: if the lines are drinking, London is sinking. Us Londoners have another saying: if the line's mains are dust, London is well and truly Now over there on your left, you can see the Golden Beach. That is the 8th wonder of the world. That is the South Bank Riviera, where the children go to play in all the golden sands and the sparkling blue waters, not to forget the broken glass and the rusty nails. Now they say that once upon a time, the famous TV show Baywatch was filmed just over there. They've let it go a little bit since. Coming up on your right hand side, you have the St Catherine Boat Tour. Now a luxury bar and restaurant to sit alongside the River Thames. Once upon a time, that was the Royal Barge. As you can see, it has had better days and has been stripped of all of its old main colour. The Royal Barge now is a lot smaller and sits upriver in Chelsea. It's called the Gloriana and is made out of over 60% gold. Now on your left hand side, you have the National Theatre, the building with the electronic billboard. It kind of looks like a multi-storey car park. Now this has been voted the most ugliest building to sit on the banks of the River Thames for the last 10 years. Now Prince Charles himself even said it is the most ugliest building he has ever seen to sit alongside the banks of the Thames. Now let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, Prince Charles knows a thing or two about being ugly. I didn't say that. Now the next bridge is Waterloo Road Bridge. It spans at over half a mile long. Also nicknamed the Ladies' Bridge. It has this nickname because in the Second World War it was built by over 80% of female labour. Now as ladies do, they chose porcelain stone, the most expensive stone. It cleans itself. As you can see on the outside, when it rains it cleans, and underneath is very dirty. Now the ladies done a great job on this bridge, and also as ladies do, the bridge was fixed a long time and put silver. As I did hear, there was a man in charge of making the teas. Coming up on your right hand side, you have the old Egyptian obelisk. That is Cleopatra's Needle. Now Cleopatra's Needle is said to be older than the City of London itself, over 3,500 years old. Now that was given to us by a very thankful Egyptian government for our help in the Battle of the Nile. On your left hand side, you have the Royal Festival Hall, the last Royal Festival Hall remaining out of all 8 of them. Now many greats have performed inside of this building, such as Amy Winehouse, Frank Sinatra, Marilyn Monroe and Michael Jackson. Unfortunately, they all have one thing in common, and they're not here anymore. So we're now just waiting for the Justin Bieber concert. Sorry to any believers out there. Is it too late to say I'm sorry? The jokes get worse, people, believe me. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the next bridge is Charing Cross Railway Bridge, and either side you have the Jubilee footway bridges. Now, if there's people on the bridge, feel free to give them a wave. It's meant to give you 7 years good luck if you get a wave back. If you get a wave back, it's good. Keep waving because it distracts their hands if they're waving from throwing things down at you. Now, if you get a wave back, the people are on holiday. If you don't get a wave back, the people are just from London and they're miserable. Now, give the people on this side bridge a wave as well. Did you get a wave back off of this side? This side is 7 years bad luck, so I forgot to mention. No, you can't miss it. Coming up on your left-hand side, you have the London Eye. Now, the London Eye has 32 pods or capsules representing the 32 boroughs of London. Now, the London Eye was built in the year 2000. It's only meant to stand here for only a couple of years. But in one single day on its own, it made a small profit of £250,000. We now like to call it the Wheel of Fortune. Now, British Airways originally built the London Eye. It's now owned by Coca-Cola. But if you have ever been on a BA flight, you will know they do not have the unlucky number seat 13. Now, the London Eye also does not have a pod or capsule with the number 13, named 13. Now, it's become a bit of a trend to get married on the London Eye. It takes half an hour for a full circle, so it takes 15 minutes to the top. So people get on at the bottom with their loved one they're going to pop the big question to. They get to the top in 15 minutes. They hold the wheel there for 1 minute and 1 minute only, while you ask her the big question, full of friends or family or 25 strangers. Now, you better hope she says yes, or it is a very awkward 15 minutes back down, with 25 strangers all laughing at you. But if she does say yes, as some of you may know, it is all downhill from there anyway. Just behind it, the long building with the green chimney in the middle, that is County Hall. That is the old Mayor of London's head office and headquarters, where they looked after all 32 boroughs of London. Schools, councils, you name it, they done it. It is now home to Shrek's Adventure, so it is pretty much the same thing. But I have heard inside that building they have an amazing sushi restaurant. It is right next door to the London Aquarium. As you can see in front of us, ladies and gentlemen, you have the Houses of Scaffolding, also known as the Houses of Parliament. Now, the clock tower, most people, even myself, call it Big Ben. That is not the name of the clock tower. The clock tower was renamed the Queen Elizabeth Tower in 2012 for the Queen's 60th birthday. Big Ben was given its name because of the 13.5-ton bell that sits inside the clock. Now, the architect his name was Ben, and apparently he was very short and very loud. So they thought they'd name the bell after him. It's a good job they didn't name the bell after his brother, as his brother was called Richard. Now, people may get that. People may not, but they could not have the tower called Big Rich. Now, as you can see, the clock tower currently has more support than our current Prime Minister, but apparently it takes 3 years to change some batteries. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are now coming into Westminster Pier. I would ask you all for a bit of safety information to please stay seated until we are safely alongside. Please take all your personal belongings with you, including your children. I was left here at the age of 9 and I'm still here now. Apparently I've got a face that only a mother could love. One more thing, ladies and gentlemen, is about the commentary. Now, as you've painfully realised, I'm not a professional guide. And I have tried to talk slow so you could all hear me clearly and understand me. I do not normally talk like this. There is nothing wrong with me. Not that I know of. So as I say, ladies and gentlemen, about the guide, we have an old tradition on the River Thames called the Captain's Silver Bucket. It is left by the gangway as you leave. If you have liked anything and would like to show appreciation of anything I've waffled on to you about the whole journey upriver, any donations are welcome. Now, these don't go to waste, ladies and gentlemen. It is all voluntary, but they do not go to waste. It all goes to research we do to get information for this guide. Research we like to do in a place called the pub after work. Now, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, I will be the one helping you over the very, very, very dangerous gap as you leave. As I say, it's completely voluntary for you to put anything in the bucket as it is for me to stand here and lie to you the whole way. Apart from that, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care and enjoy sunny London. Thank you for listening. Please don't stop. Keep going.